Welcome to Fluent Inspections Radio, where we help you enjoy stress-free home buying, home selling, and home ownership. I'm your host, Brian Botch. I'm joined today by Bill Beck. We're both licensed professional inspectors here in the state of Texas, and we regularly inspect haunted houses of all shapes and sizes. So, Bill, special live show today for Halloween.
Yes, we are live, and we have no idea what we're doing.
Hey, first live broadcast. Can't go wrong.
If anything goes wrong today, this is our first one.
That's right. We've been preparing for this for all of the last 10 minutes.
And we've had no technical difficulties so far today, so it's going really good.
Not at all. It's good.
Well, I am Brian Botch.
We inspect homes.
Yes, this is Bill Beck. We inspect homes. And if you're joining us for the first time, this is the Fluent Inspections podcast. We talk about homes folks are buying, homes people are selling. We talk about issues with your home that you own now, ways to maintain it, all sorts of different things.
We just talk about mostly home-related type things, or
yeah,
and whatever else comes to mind.
Well, in today's show,
which could be anything,
we're also going to talk about some scary inspection finds, or maybe some things that could have been scary but ended up not being quite so terrifying. We're also going to talk about some interesting things people are doing for Halloween with their smart homes. So we do a segment in the show every week called Your Smart Home Update. And this particular week, we're going to talk about some things going on there. And then we'll sort of wrap the show up with an article about Halloween safety. So,
all right. Sounds good.
So remember, if you're a regular listener of ours, we'd appreciate it if you would subscribe to the podcast if you haven't done so. And if you could like us or give us a good one of those 5-star bumps, that'd be good as well. You can also follow us on the socials. You can find us at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or housefluent.com.
Please subscribe.
We will attempt to get better.
It can only go uphill from here.
All right. So, Bill, we're going to talk today. We'll start the show off with a few inspection finds that we've seen throughout the years. And kind of the first one that comes to mind for me that could have been a scary situation is we inspected a house, or I did, I guess, a couple of years ago, out in the country. And when you see houses out in the country, oftentimes they don't have quite the level of standards, building standards, that you see in more of a municipal region, right? So they don't have the same level of regulation involved. And when that happens, sometimes you see things that are non-standard, right? And so in this particular home, there was a water heater that actually was in a closet for a bedroom. And so what could be some problems associated with that, Bill?
A water heater in a closet for a bedroom?
Yeah.
Was it a gas water heater?
It was a gas water heater.
I don't think there could be anything wrong with that. Fine. That's your combustion air. You're breathing in the room. There's...
Yeah.
Depending on how it's vented, there could be if the tank blows or cracks.
Right.
On top of the noise, just having to hear it kick on and off, and
yeah,
especially if it's an older water heater, making lots of popping noises, and
yeah,
just probably not where you really want it.
No, definitely not where you want it. And fortunately, we were able to find it in the inspection and kind of point out some of those things, especially the fact that it is pulling combustion air out of the bedroom, which you don't necessarily want to have air being sucked out of your bedroom while you're trying to sleep.
You need combustion air also.
Yeah, that's right. But also, if something did go wrong with the venting, just like you mentioned, you don't want to vent carbon monoxide, into the bedroom as well. So, yeah. But because we were able to find it, because we were able to point it out, they were able to deal with it before they actually moved into the home, which was fantastic. They actually ended up just taking the easy way out. They replaced it with an electric water heater instead of having the gas in there.
That's a good one.
That is.
What else you got? What other scary finds have you run into? I was thinking of one.
Go ahead.
While we were talking.
Yeah.
I recall a house you did that when you walked in, the whole house was filled with gas.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's scary.
That was terrifying. So,
and you had a client with 5 or 6 kids.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and she didn't speak English.
They wanted to come in the house. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this was an older home. It was in a very nice neighborhood, actually, and the house was built in the 30s, I think, if I remember right, and it had the original gas plumbing coming up through the exterior wall and in, and just timing is everything. I showed up, I opened the house, and all you could smell was gas. I mean, it just permeated.
It's the gas alarm.
The gas alarm. It just permeated everything, and to the point that it was so strong. I had to keep the clients outside. They didn't understand what was going on. I found the gas leak on the back side of the home. I shut the gas down to the house. I notified the gas company. I notified the realtor that was involved in the transaction on both sides, and we had all the windows open. We were able to clear the house out. But yeah, that was interesting. There were 5 kids running around. Nobody spoke English except for the 10-year-old son, I think it was. And it was, a little bit of a...
That'll get your attention fast.
Yeah,
and that's
sure
when you
does.
quickly start wondering how many things you might have a spark.
Yeah.
Including
absolutely.
static on top of that point. But,
Yeah.
But you definitely think, don't touch anything, don't turn anything on. Is my flashlight going to spark if I turn it? I mean,
Oh,
you
yeah,
think about
no,
everything,
yeah. Well, and, I open the door and everybody floods in. The first thing you do, they start turning on lights.
Oh.
And, you had to get them out of there. It was kind of...
In a house built in the 30s.
Yeah.
Look,
What
I'm
could
sure
go
the
wrong?
wiring's-
Yeah.
and how many,
fine. Yeah.
how many houses have you found that have an electrical issue and a gas leak?
Yeah, well...
or they've got aluminum
actually
and
none.
copper wiring
That
mixed
I've
together
seen, yeah.
in a house with a gas leak.
Yeah.
I believe that same house had aluminum and copper mixed. Because
It did have some aluminum. So it was... The electrical system on that house had been redone multiple times. And in the attic, there was some old knob and tube. There was also some aluminum in the panel. Yeah, you're right. That particular house had quite a few things
the
going
perfect
on.
combo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But fortunately,
Just waiting for the spark.
yeah.
Everybody lived.
Yeah, everybody survived. It was, and then we also had a home we looked at that had a water heater in a basement. And this was also a gas water heater. And it was in a closet right next to the HVAC unit. And there was no vent on it. It was just venting right into the closet, right where the air conditioner was. So the air conditioner, it just right through where the filter was, it sucking all that carbon monoxide in, distributing it around the house.
And we've seen several houses that have the water heater next to the HVAC in a closet.
Yeah, but not one without a vent.
Not one that wasn't vented. And not only that, the return, I think, for the AC, I believe, was right below it, too.
It was
pulling
it was pulling it right.
Pulling it right into the system. But I think
Well, you get to save on sleep aids that way.
You do. Yeah. No, that's absolutely true. You do.
that house had a lot of issues, but it had several issues that from the remodel, a huge remodel that were done on that house. There's things that were done that needed some work.
And probably the scariest inspection find for me. Bill and I looked at a house out in part of North Texas that was a little bit, that wasn't even really in the country. It was kind of country-ish, sort of in the middle of the Metroplex. And the owner was there when we first started. And on her way out, she said, "Hey, Brian, just want to let you know, the access for the crawl space is behind the house. And it's a wooden panel, basically."
Right.
So I went over to get in the crawl space, and I looked, and it wasn't a wooden panel. No, it wasn't a wooden panel. It was an interior hollow core door that had just a couple of cement cinder blocks stacked against it.
It was a windbreak.
Yeah, it was a windbreak.
Nice.
And I thought, okay, well, at least make it easy access. It's a nice big hole. And I pulled the door off, and I got underneath there, and I got about a foot inside the crawl space.
How many critters were there?
It was a nice copperhead that was about 6 feet maybe or so long, and it was just staring at me. And I don't think I've ever moved in a confined space that fast in my entire life.
He had a little giddy up in his step
Yeah.
after that one because he came running around the house as I was doing something else. And it was like he didn't want to go back in, but he did. I give him a huge amount of credit for that because I don't know if I would, but he went back in and found the skin. I think
Yeah,
where
it
it
was
shed its
nice
skin.
long
It was a
skin.
good
My wife,
size skin.
she made me
but
bring it home for our kids' nature
I think
study.
there was more than one under the house too, because I think there were several eyes looking at him when he was.
Yeah,
under
it
the
was
house.
not. Yeah, that was a frightening.
Yeah. We need. That's where we should charge for hazardous
Hazardous duty pay,
or on at the point of contact.
right?
House fluent inspections and extermination.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no kidding. That was the only time we really run into a snake of that size. But
Yeah.
we see other varmints here and there. But you see eyes looking at you every once in a while. But
Yeah. My favorite was I got into a crawl space at a home out in I guess it was the Decatur area. And I got under the crawl space. It was actually a really nice crawl space. It had been completely redone. But as soon as I opened the door and crawled in, the first thing I was staring down at was a skeleton.
Of what?
It was like a small animal that had, been eaten or whatever. But I was like, okay, well.
I thought you were like inspecting the Dahmer summer home or something.
I had a house that there was a teenage girl in the bedroom, in her room, and I didn't know anybody was in the house.
That's
And
not good.
We were both scared of each other when we found out.
Yeah, I imagine.
You both screamed like little girls.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
So it was fine, but I didn't know she was there, and that we always yell, when we're there, that
Sure.
there's an inspector in the house, and she had her headphones or something on and didn't hear me, but
Yeah.
but that one got my attention and hers.
Yeah.
That was fun.
So one of the things that that we do is we help people try and avoid, I don't want to say avoid a scary situation, but maybe empower them to make more confident decisions by having all the information up front, right? And so we sometimes see things. Well, a good example, we saw a home that had a fire essentially in the attic at one point, right? And it had been repaired, but there were still charred rafters and things. And you come down out of that, you finish the inspection, your client shows up, and now you're sort of faced with this, okay, I need to talk to my client about this and help them understand that, okay, this has happened. This is the result of it. There have been repairs, and what do you need to do now? And you've got to help somebody when they see something like you had a fire, which is alarming, right? Like, oh my gosh, I had a fire. And you've got to help them understand that, okay, things happen sometimes. This did occur. You need to know about it. Here's how you can go about getting more information about it, right? If there's an insurance claim on it, talk to your adjuster, see if you can get a clue report, find out what repairs have been done, find out, how long ago this happened, all those things. And
because those insurance claims are recorded, right? It doesn't.
Most of them, yeah.
So you can look it up by address or.
Yeah, so if you go to, most people don't know this, but if you actually go to your insurance agent and you say, hey, I want to know the loss history on my home, they can actually pull that up for you.
So it's almost like a Carfax for your home.
It is, in a sense, right? It's not going to tell you maintenance records.
Right.
It will tell you accidents, right? And, claims and things.
We've had houses, though, where the disclosure said there had been a fire also,
Sure.
and they knew about it and, had been repaired or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully there's warranties involved with that, kind of like foundations and that kind of stuff, too. But
Sure.
But then we've had times where they didn't tell, and we found it.
Yeah, definitely. And but the scariest situation of all is when you're buying a home or you own a home and you're in over your head, right? And that almost happened to my wife and I. Actually, that's part of what got me into this industry. But we bought a home that was built in 1969. And we bought it for the land. Our house is on an acre, which in the Dallas-Fort Worth area is pretty rare.
It is.
And we knew when we bought it, it was a bit of a fixer-upper. All right, and this was long before I got into the inspection business. But we had a home inspection. And we knew some of the major things, right? We knew it had aluminum wiring. We knew it had certain things. And we addressed some of those beforehand.
Had a cement pond, too, didn't it?
Yeah, it did have a cement pond, yeah.
Did.
And there's a whole story behind that, but we can talk about on another show. The thing, though, was we moved in, and little things that added up to a lot were there that we didn't know about, right? So at some point before we moved in, they took the HVAC unit out of a closet downstairs and moved it into the attic, which was great. Made more closet space. They turned that old air conditioning closet into a nice closet. You could hang coats in there. It was nice, right? What they didn't do was decommission the floor drain. What they did was they just covered it with carpet. And nobody knew about it.
No problems there.
No problems there. Other than it was slowly backing up and